weakest Harry Potter movie ever. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Daily Reacts TV here. Today, I'm not excited to review this film. For the marathon I've been doing, I knew I had to come to this movie and give out my thoughts.
Oh, you were sitting there watching TV.
Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix. So the story for Harry Potter, the Order of Phoenix, starts off Harry's 5th year of Hogwarts. He gets expelled first. Then he freaking goes in school. People blame him for Cedric's death, and you get my point. I didn't enjoy this movie one bit. Not like I enjoyed a little bit of it, but it's not the worst film. But I'm gonna be honest, I haven't been this completely bored since Kim Possible 2019 and Diary of a Wimpy Kid: The Long Haul. But let's just get out. I only have 2 good in this entire thing, and there's a lot of complaints. First of the good is Ron and Hermione. I'm not gonna split them like I did for Harry, Hermione, and Ron. I do that with the Harry Potter movies with Harry, but Harry's not in the good this time, sadly. But they were pretty good in this movie. Ron, like the person who plays Ron, is working so hard in this film. Emma Watson, looking smoking as heck, but still a great actress. And yeah, the battle scene between Voldemort and Dumbledore was pretty good. Other than that, I didn't enjoy this movie one bit. So, what can I start with the bad? The story. It basically got me bored out of my mind. I never thought I would be so bored of a Harry Potter movie. And that's saying something, because if you guys don't know, each and every Harry Potter movie keeps me entertained in my stomach, keeps me really wanting more for Harry Potter. This one just felt rushed and not developed, you know? And I don't know why. I just think David Yates, who directed this one, didn't do well in this movie. I think he was like, okay, I'm gonna rush the script. I'm gonna rush everything in this movie. Okay, it's out. Like, that's what it feels like, and it's not great. The professor in this movie. Not once did I hate every new professor in this Harry Potter movie. The professor from Chamber of Secrets was pretty fun. The professor from Prisoner of Azkaban was pretty good. The professor of Goblet of Fire is pretty good. This professor annoys the living crap out of me. And she's like, you are telling a lie. And I'm just sitting there like, shut up. And then she's thinking, oh, Hogwarts is so out of control. No, Hogwarts was way better than when you came to Hogwarts. So I don't want to hear that from you. So basically, she was the worst thing of this film. She was the worst thing. The outfit she wears, it annoys me so much. Her laugh, her voice, I just wanted to slap her across the face. That's how bad she was. And I normally don't say that to an imaginary woman character, but it's the truth. So before we get even further to the characters and what I think of the actions, what did I think of the soundtrack of this movie? Now, in every Harry Potter movie, I listen to the soundtrack like hard beat. This one just wasn't good. The soundtrack was not great. It wasn't the same person who made the soundtrack on all 4 Harry Potter movies. And that's sad to me. Honestly, that's sad to me. It is. The students. And I hate saying this. The students in this movie, completely useless. They're just like, oh, we blame you for Cedric's death, or my mom told me this, or just shut up. You have no use to be in this movie. None. Finito. Literally,
Go talk to her. She needs you.
like, they were literally like, oh, Voldemort's not back, or like, you killed Cedric, and then he's like, one of the freaking kids is like, so he really is back. I'm like, I got so mad, and I'm trying not to pull out my anger because, like I said, I was disappointed. But at the same time, it made me frustrated when they just now said that, and I'm just like, wow, okay, this is where we're going with. And Neville's story. I love Neville Longbottom. He was a really cool character. He was really funny in Goblet of Fire, I'm not gonna lie. His story in this film just wasn't earned. It just was pushed. Because apparently, at a young age, his mom and dad got killed by a Death Eater. And now he wants to defend Hogwarts and everyone from them. And I'm like, okay, one, you copy that from Harry. Two, what's the point? Like, he's not a useless character, no, but he's always getting into trouble, you know? And when I get it. You want to stop the person who murdered your parents. I get that. But, like, Davy Yates is just... The way he described Neville was just... barbaric. Dumbledore. I liked him very much in all 4 movies. I never mentioned him in year 3 because I thought it was not going to be good. But since we're getting near to the 6th movie, which is Dumbledore's final movie alive, spoiler alert, I figured now to mention him in the 4th and 5th and then 6th and maybe 7th and maybe 8th. You get my point? He was a jerk in this movie. Like in the 4th movie, you understand. He was worried for Harry's protection. He was really worried how Harry should have not have been in that cup. This, he's just ignoring Harry 24/7, and then finally once he saw him, he's like, well, I'm going to ignore him again. I'm like, you don't ignore your students. You help your students. Like, that's not good for you. That's not good for Harry, you know? So for him to just do that to him is like, it's just something I'm not liking. Last and not least, I gotta deal with Voldemort, but Voldemort. He barely was in the movie. He barely did anything except fight Dumbledore and just go in Harry's nightmares. That's all he did. That's literally all he did. Like, I get it that they want him to be menacing and they don't want to show him until the final movie. I get that. But gosh dang, just don't make him the most embarrassing part of the movie. Like, he's supposed to be menacing. He's supposed to be scary. He's supposed to be the Death Eater that murdered Harry's parents. He's just set aside in this entire film. I get it. Harry's in Hogwarts. I get that part. What? And then the Dursleys. I almost forgot about them. Not only that they were completely useless in the story, or in this movie, not useless in the story, because I actually like the Dursleys. They were great. They were not great in Sorcerer's for Stone, but I still liked them. They were fantastic in Chamber of Secrets. They were amazing in Prisoner of Azkaban. Why did they not, get the right stuff they did from the 3 movies they were in? They were in Goblet of Fire, which I was kind of happy, at the same time wasn't. But at the same time, it is Harry's story, so I got that part. But I would love to see the Dursleys not, And then Dudley, oh my gosh. When he was dealing with a Death Eater. Mm-hmm.
I was the one who said it. Stop being a jerk.
And then as I was saying before I got interrupted by my sister, like, Dudley was completely useless. All he did was just push a kid off a swing, and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm getting attacked by a Death Eater, and then I'm going to blame it on Harry, and I'm just like... They had no use in this film. Mrs. freaking Dursley is just doing this, fanning herself because how hot it is in the house. Really? Like... Also, this is the second Harry Potter movie that was PG-13. I forgot to mention that. Yeah. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire was the first Harry Potter movie that's PG-13. After this movie, it's going back to the PG rating until Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. I'm gonna get so much hate for this. I do not care. Harry. I never thought in my entire life that I was gonna be bored of Harry Potter himself. Never once thought I was gonna be bored of him. Not even for a minute or two. Frick this. And I forgot to... I'm going to mention him in a sec. Harry, the way he is in this movie, he teaches them how to defend themselves. Okay, good. That's a good storytelling. Not. I mean, and then whenever he gets these nightmares, he becomes more like Voldemort. And then near the freaking end of the movie, he's like, "You're the weak one. I have love and friends. And I feel sorry for you." I'm just like, sitting there like, At this moment, Harry's character arc lost me in this film. Lost me. Now, I almost forgot Sirius Black. He was great in the third movie. He was not really in the fourth movie, but he was in this movie. He's only been in 2 movies. And I'm going to tell you this. This is the weakest thing in this entire film. It's the weakest death. Are you ready? Because at the same time you're going to see this review, you're probably going to be like, wow, he really doesn't like this movie. It's not that I don't like it. So Harry and Sirius were fighting, I don't know who it was, Draco Malfoy's dad, yeah. Freaking 2 seconds in the freaking battle. That one Death Eater that killed Neville's parents, can't stand her. I think she was better off in another role. I think it was Charlie in the Chocolate Factory playing Charlie's mom. Who knows? Does the spell Voldemort does. And freaking kills Sirius Black. And what does Sirius Black do? Falls into the cloud of shale. The freaking portal. That is the most worthless death scenes I've seen in any movie. Endgame had a better death scenes. Deathly Hallows Part 2 had a better death scenes. Even the future Harry Potter movies have a powerful death scenes. Even Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire had a better death scene. Why does it... I would have loved to see more of Sirius in this series. I would have loved to learn a little bit more about him. But no, we got him freaking killed at the end of his second film he was in. You feeling me? Like, you're feeling me. Yeah, guys. You guys can tell I don't really like this movie. I'm not trying to be harsh on it. I'm not. Like, weakest part of the Harry Potter franchise. Weakest. And it's not that I hate the movie. It's not like I'm complaining about it. I just don't like this movie that much. And I know you guys are going to say, "Oh, Daily, you're being too harsh on the movie." Or, "Daily, you hate the movie." I do not hate it. And yes, I'm being a little harsh on it. But you guys would understand how I'm feeling if you were a big fan of the franchise and you were a kid and you couldn't understand what the frick was going on in this film. And you still couldn't. If you're like, "I'm gonna hate my score," I do not care. My score for... I know you guys are going to say, "Oh, Daily, you're being too harsh on the movie." Or, "Daily, you hate the movie." I do not hate it. And yes, I'm being a little harsh on it. But you guys would understand how I'm feeling if you were a big fan of the franchise and you were a kid and you couldn't understand what the frick was going on in this film. And you still couldn't if you're like a 19-year-old or 18-year-old. Like, you get my point. You get my point. I don't hate this franchise. I love it to death. Like I said, I collect everything of Harry Potter-ish since then, I have all the movies on DVD, which I'm going to keep those. Those are the old copies of the movies. I'm probably just going to buy new copies and keep those for collections, Anyways, back what I'm saying. I collect the movies, I collect the wands, I collect everything Harry Potter-ish. And you gave me this movie, As a 10 or... No. As a 6-year-old or 7-year-old, I don't know how old I was at the time. I knew this movie wasn't that great. Going back to it now... He's gonna hate my score. I do not care. My score for Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix is a 3 out of 10.